Hi everyone, it's Miss Bowie. First off, I want to thank everyone for coming out to the teacher parade. It made me so happy. All of the posters, the smiles, the waves, and people were even ringing cowbells. It brought so much joy to all of the hearts of everyone there, and I could talk about that all day, but we do need to get to today's lesson, which is on weaving. So, weaving is weaving has texture, which is part of the elements of art, and I will play a slideshow for you guys today. So weaving is the interlacing of thread, yarn, or strips of some material. And some of you guys may ask, well, what is interlacing? Interlacing is just like your shoelaces. So if you if you lace your fingers together, or you lace thread or yarn, it will produce something, or you'll make something new. So if you just want to say put together thread or yarn, that's fine as well. And this is a basket weave, and you can see here how the materials interlaced together. This is crocheting, and the tools on the crochet tools have a little hook at the end, whereas knitting, the tools used have, or they come to a point. Examples of weaving are sweaters and mittens. Rugs are also an example of weaving. And baskets. You may get an Easter basket this year. Today we're going to be weaving with paper. And our goals or our objectives for our kindergarten, first grade, and second grade students will weave with the help of an adult or maybe a sibling. You'll understand patterns and you'll practice eye-hand coordination. For third and fourth graders, I want you to weave independently. This will help you understand patterns. You'll also use ruler skills, and you'll differentiate. That means tell the difference between an inch and a half inch, and you'll fine-tune your cutting skills. The materials needed today are construction paper, or just paper of two different colors. I have construction paper here. You can also use, if you don't have construction paper, you can just use a regular sheet of copier paper or computer paper, and then you can use a piece of paper from a magazine, which looks very interesting as well. You'll also need a ruler. You'll need scissors, and you'll also need glue. If you don't have glue or a glue stick, it's okay. The glue helps hold everything together though. And now we're going to start. So again, you'll need two pieces of paper that are different color, and that just is easier to weave. Now, I talked about the magazine paper. The magazine paper, it needs to be the same size as your white paper. So if it's bigger, this one's bigger, so what you need to do is you need to trim off the edges. So you'll trim off the edges, and then the magazine paper will be the same size. So it'll be the same size. And it can be a magazine, or I have a catalog here, like a furniture catalog, that'll work as well. So now we're gonna start weaving. Okay. So I'm actually going to do my example with white paper because it's easier for you guys to see. So, and I'll do this so that you guys can see everything. So this is my white paper right here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my white paper, or if you're using construction paper, just choose a color, and then you're going to fold it in half like a hamburger, not like a hot dog, but like a hamburger. So on here, you're going to have the side that is closed, and then you're going to have the side that is open, or what I call the mouth. Whoa, 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 whoa. So that's the mouth. So what we're going to do is we're going to create lips on the mouth. So you're going to use your ruler, and you can just do this with the width of your ruler. So you're going to use your ruler, and you're going to line up that ruler with the edge of the paper, and then we're going to create a line on this side. Now, here's the thing. I am right-handed. So for me to do this, I can do it, but it would be more difficult. So what you can do is you can just turn your paper around so that you're holding the ruler with your non-dominant hand, and then you can just take this and go all the way down easily. So now I have some lips. You see that? I have lips. It opens up, and this is the side that's on the lips. If you did it on this side, just go ahead and erase it, or you can just flip your paper on the other side and do it on the other side. But I really want you to have the lips, so and that will help us keep the weaving in a controlled area. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create 1-inch dots. And so if you're in kindergarten, or if you're in kindergarten through 2nd grade, I would have a parent or a sibling help you with this part. So you have the inch. On my ruler, I have inches and I have centimeters. You need to make sure that you know the difference, and you should have learned the difference in your math class. So an inch, my 2nd grade teacher taught me that an inch is like this little spot right here on your finger. It's not exact, but to this day, I still kind of use that as my little measurement. So that's approximately an inch. That's an inch. Now on the other side of my ruler, I have centimeters. On the other side of my ruler, I have centimeters, and it even has a little itty bitty cm, which stands for centimeters on this side. We're not using centimeters today. Today we're going to be using inches. So make sure you're on the side that says an inch, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a dot at every inch. So I'm not doing this on the lips. So I just have it here, and then I'm going to put a dot at 1 inch, a dot at 2 inch, a dot at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to pull my ruler down, and this we're just doing this to use it as a little guide. And then same thing. So now I have a row of dots at the top and I have a row of dots that are an inch apart at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to connect the dots, and I'm going to draw a line, but I'm not going to go where the lips are. So I did that, and I'm just going to continue that all the way down. Okay, so this is what you should have. And then now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. And when I cut, I'm going to cut up, and I'm going to stop right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so that you guys can see. Make sure you stop there, don't go all the way. And here again today, especially my 3rd and my 4th graders, and even some of my 2nd graders, if you guys are doing the cutting, you 2nd graders, you absolutely can do the cutting, and this goes for my 3rd and 4th graders as well. You need to make sure that you're cutting very precisely. So if you need to slow down a bit, that's okay. Slow down and cut on the line, because your weaving will be much tighter and will come out much cleaner if you have nice straight lines. So we have that, and then you're going to open that up. So make sure you open that up, and then we're just going to put this to the side, and I'll come back to that. Now we're going to need to make our strips. So now you're going to choose a different color. So I have green paper here, and you're going to use, for here, I'm just going to use the width of my ruler. Your ruler may be skinnier, it may be thicker than mine, it'll still work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and then I'm going to line up. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up the edge of the ruler with the edge of the paper. I line it up. I'm going to use big hands and hold my ruler in the middle. And so again, I'm using big hands because when you use big hands, your ruler doesn't move around. If you only use 2 fingers, then it can slide. It'll become more like a pivot point. And even if I use big hands, but I only hold it at the bottom, then when I get to the top, it could move. So what I'm doing is I'm using big hands and I'm holding the ruler in the middle. Make sure you've lined it up with the edge of your paper, and then I'm just going to go with the other hand, go all the way down. And if you're left-handed, yours will look if you're left-handed, yours will look different. It's okay, turn it around so that so that it's easier for you to hold. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to go all the way down. Now, after you do this, you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut the strips. I already have some strips here because just to kind of save some time, I already have strips here. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the weaving. I'm going to go ahead and start the weaving. So remember the other sheet that we had. So now I'm going to take, to weave, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over this sheet, over and under the other one. Over this one, under the next one. Over this one, and under the next one. Over this one, and under the next one. So you see that? So I have one. And then another thing I want you to do is I want you to push it all the way to the side. And then I'm going to do another one. But this one I'm going to do the opposite. So here I did over. So here, now I need to start under. So now I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. And then again, push it all the way over. Now I'm going to do another one, and it has to be the opposite of the next door neighbor. So now I'm going to go over, under. And it should start to look like a checkerboard. So it should start to look like a checkerboard. Now I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to purposely do it wrong so that you guys can see what not to do, what you shouldn't be doing. So if I do this and I make it exactly like the next door neighbor, although I'm following the pattern of over, under, it doesn't give me the checkered pattern. So if you start to see something like that, then you need to make sure that you pull it out and do it. And sometimes, and you may even start off correctly, but you may get to a point where you have just messed up on maybe just one part. So like that. See, so here I started off correctly, but then I started to not do it. So just make sure that you are careful as you're doing the over, under, and I have a finished product over here. I did this one earlier with the orange. Here, we'll move this back. So I have one that's finished over here. This one is with the orange and pink, and this is the 1-inch strips. Now, so you'll do this and you can send the pictures to me. Now, my 3rd and my 4th graders, you guys have an extra assignment. So you guys need to do 2. You need to do one that's 1 inch, because this one shouldn't take you very long. Now, you guys are also, my 3rd and 4th graders, you guys are also going to be doing 1/2-inch strips. So these are the 1/2-inch strips, and you can see the difference between them. It does look a lot more complex. It does take a little bit more time, and I also want you to practice your ruler skills. So, so when you're doing your 1/2-inch, so when you're measuring your strips to do your 1/2-inch, you're going to start off with 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. So that's what you're doing when you're measuring the. That's what you're doing when you're measuring the 1/2-inch. And here I have an example of what your 1/2-inch strip should look like. So the directions are going to be almost the same, except for you'll do your lips, and then you need to measure the 1/2-inch on here, and then you'll also need to measure 1/2-inch strips. So Again, this is weaving, and weaving is the interlacing of thread, yarn, or other materials. And weaving typically gives you texture. And I hope to see all of your projects. Your parents can email me or they can tag me on Instagram at Mrs. Buiart. That's MRSBUIART. I look forward to seeing all of your projects. I miss you guys. I hope that we can come back to school soon. And again, I really want to see your projects, so keep those pictures coming.